Hello everyone, how are you? So I am very quickly recording this video as I am making the grounding bracelet, preparing for the exhibition, which is on the 17th. It's the Christmas market between 3 to 9 p.m. It's at the Citadines Metro Hotel, Dubai. I think that's how you pronounce it. I've been trying to pronounce it for the last 2 days. Yes, I should have gone on Google and just checked it, but I didn't. Okay. And now this is a bracelet that I'm making, actually, the grounding. It is black tourmaline, tourmalinated quartz, black obsidian and hematite. It's a very, very powerful grounding bracelet, protection bracelet. And I have done a whole lot of bunch of bracelets that I made today. Beautiful combinations, okay? And I don't like mixing too many stones unless they're from the same chakra. You'll not find me mix two chakras together because it's important for them to be of a certain weight in order to actually help you. When you mix too many stones of different chakras together, you will get overwhelmed if you just wear the one bracelet. This is my belief and my experience. And I hold the rights, I reserve the rights to that opinion to myself, okay? Everyone has different experiences because healing and even experience is not linear. What one person could experience with a certain crystal, another person has a different perspective to it, or could have a different way of healing through it. However, your baselines are always the same. Now, the reason why I'm also making this video today is because I wanted to connect with all of you at a more personal level to talk about my journey through healing, through life that got me here. I just didn't land up and suddenly started getting into healing. I just didn't wake up one night and decide that this is what I choose for myself. I have had the artist identity attached to me for very, very long, almost more than 20 years. Everyone from my childhood has known me drawing, has known me as a creative person who was into drawing, painting, etc., etc. But this side of me has been a journey. It has not been an overnight decision. It has been a journey where for the first time I feel like I was the chosen one, but I didn't choose this for myself. I just followed my heart and my soul. There was nothing that I was chasing there. I was possibly just walking the truth of my soul. Now, to give you a bit of a background, I'll give you a background in order to explain to you where I have come from, and not that it is my identity is the reason why you will not see me talk about it that often, okay? But I think you deserve the right to know because we have been connecting for a very long time and it is important now. So I come from I grew up in an emotionally unstable environment. And I had a very traumatic childhood in terms of physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse, done at a level where it wasn't even recognized, like something like that even happened. So I was an oversensitive child already. I know now why I was like that, and I know now why I went through all of that. But I had very heightened senses, and I was an empath, so it made it 10 times worse than any other person experiencing these things. This caused an issue while growing up in, I think, developing my personality in terms of confidence. I was a people pleaser for a very long time. I didn't have any confidence in myself. I was very, very, very shy. Very, very shy. You would say that I had so many talents, yet I didn't tap into any one of them because I was so underconfident. And the shyness was just a way of getting out of those situations where I had to trust myself and show up for myself. Let's just say that. Okay, this went on for a very long time. I think till the age of I would say till the age of 25, I was living in denial that any of that had an impact on me. I thought that because I chose not to have depressive thoughts, because I chose I did definitely have, the hope was always alive in me, but I think that because I thought that I had chosen not to have depressive thoughts, that I thought I was, that none of it affected me. Let's just say that, till it started showing up in my relationships. Okay, till it started showing up in places where I needed to grow and evolve, and the choices I was making till a certain point in time. I also went through a lot of bullying growing up because of my nature. I was known as a very happy child who had suddenly turned out to be a crybaby. In groups would overwhelm me. People talking loud would overwhelm me. All of this I realized that I was experiencing, but nobody noticed it as there was an issue that needed to be addressed. And considering the environment I was in, where whatever experiences, now I understand the experiences I went through were a part of my journey, and probably my soul picked those experiences, as challenges and as something to grow from. I understand what I went through, and the reason, and I also have a lot of gratitude for those people through whom this was done, because now I understand that the role they played was so difficult. The position that they signed up for was the most difficult thing to do, and I have a lot of respect for that, in terms of forgiving myself for judging and forgiving them for doing what they did, okay, which brought a lot of peace to me. And yes, but like I said, all of that has started showing up in my relationships. It showed in my career. It showed in everything. When you don't feel safe, secure, and protected, you don't know how hungry you are, and anything thrown at you would possibly eat it up. And what does that mean? All the toxic relationships, all the codependency, all the places where you compromise thinking it is required. However, it's just not leading to anywhere, So then I had I headed towards a separation and a divorce before settling down again about 10 years ago. I haven't even counted, honestly. I think it's 8 or 10 years ago, yeah. And that was the time when I had actually I broke down, and I realized that something was wrong. Yeah, that I was running away from things, thinking that I was very immune to them, but I was actually living in denial, and my overcompensating behaviors were just, it was just like a little carpet over everything, all my emotions, all my understanding, everything. And the more I would try and run away from them, the more it chased me, as those characteristics being projected in every person that I would choose, it would be the same thing. It would just not finish, till I noticed that it was a pattern. I noticed it was a pattern only when I headed for the divorce. I understood. And from that point in time, I chose everything differently. I could look back, and it was suddenly seeing myself for the first time. I would say it was not easy. It was the dark night of the soul. It lasted for a very long time. It was very painful. It was very difficult. But just the fact that I changed my thought process, just the fact that I understood it was a pattern, just that awareness, which I feel was a divine or a soul contracted awakening and awareness, because I felt like I had worked all my life towards understanding that. Just the fact that I understood the pattern, my life started stirring in a different direction, which was towards my highest good. But it was still not easy, because I had a lot of this work to be done, which I had not done before. I had a lot of pain within me, which showed up as sickness. After I had my daughter, I met Robbie, my husband, and that was the beginning of my new phase of my life, let's just say that, where also started my spiritual journey. And it has been beautiful ever since. Like I said, it was not I wasn't immune to all the pain just because I chose differently. I had a lot of work to do. I had developed IBS after I had my daughter, because of all the built up frustration, built up anger, built up judgments, built up not being emotionally able to regulate my emotions, built up so many things at so many levels that I couldn't even at that time put words to it. Okay, and on top of that, heightened senses, and then being an empath. So it was like all these things, three things together made me feel like that's it. I'm reaching to the end of my life with no way to go. All of that showed up in my sickness. And guys, always listen to this. Anything that shows up as sickness in your body is a block in your energetic field. So it actually, your energy is 6 feet around your body. It first hits your energetic field, okay, and then it starts blocking your chakras, and that's how then it starts converting into sickness, is when the energy gets stagnant in that one block. And I went through, for those 3 years, I remember when I had this severe pain in my solar plexus that just wouldn't go. And I had so much anxiety, in terms of, not anxiety like you see people breaking into fit, but I was just so much at unrest. Everything would scare me. I was just not willing to make friends, in a very difficult state of mind, yet not depressed. You know, I wasn't depressed. I knew I was in search of something, but because I hadn't found my path, I hadn't found like-minded people. Guys, know that was a very important thing that happened to me. I hadn't found like-minded people at that point in time who experienced similar things like me, or who were on a spiritual journey, who had an awakening process. Because I wasn't around them and I wasn't in touch with any one of them, I just was going in circles, thinking there's something seriously wrong with me that is beyond my control. So in order to deal with the sickness like the IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, where everything you eat just creates a trouble, and then I got anemic because I wasn't able to get the required nutrients from my food. I used to get iron injections every 6 months, and if I wouldn't have it, I wouldn't have the energy to stand. It just kept getting worse and worse. Then I went through allopathy for a year. I went through Ayurvedic for a year. I tried homeopathy for a while. Even that was uncomfortable. I did NAET. I did bioresonance. Everything I did for a year. And then I was like, God, I remember still the cry that I had in my heart when I finally surrendered to Almighty, and I said, you gotta help me now. I need you. And those were the years when I was also going through, troubled years before that. I can genuinely see that my connection with God, I was like completely like, no, you don't exist, angry, everything possible. How can I do this to me? How can this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? The victim mentality was totally there, and it didn't help me in any way. Okay, I know I'm picking bits and pieces of my story, trying to organize it and tell it to you in best ways possible. But here I am explaining it with all my heart, without a script attached to it, because this is so personal and this is so special in so many ways at the same time, that it cannot be thought of before. It has to come from the heart. Okay, guys? So, this is what happened. And then during the course of separation, and even during the course of divorce, I went through a lot of experiences in between there as well, which really broke me as a person. Like I say, it's very difficult for me to, at this stage now that I'm here, to talk about it from a very victimized point of view. Like even to say that my friends left me, people left me overnight, this happened, that happened. I find it very strange because I'm so aligned with myself that I don't recognize with that vibration anymore. That happened in that timeline, but things happened. I mean, I remember one night sitting, and I think I was one of those early people who went through divorce in their timeline, in terms of their friend circle, in terms of their people in the college, you know, in terms of even you know, if I have to talk with my parents' friends circle and relatives, etc., etc. So it was really like a taboo, like, oh, those typical things that nobody gets married to a divorcee. I was like, really? There's somebody running behind me with a knife and you want me to walk into that right now? I'm not going to do that. So yeah, even in that relationship, I went through verbal, physical, mental, emotional abuse at all levels. And again, it was very, very toxic at various levels, and to get out of that also took me a very long time, because again, I was in denial for a very long time. I thought, because I masked everything with, oh, it's okay, it happens, move on in life, leave and go, you know, that kind of an attitude, I thought. But I had not actually properly grieved, I had not properly mourned, I had not taken my time to understand. But I don't regret any of the decisions I took, because like I said, everything was soul contracted and decided between me and Almighty. And I just followed through with every decision I took. I followed through. See, so even though I was going through all of this struggle to adjust to the human life as an energy in this human life, having this human experience, but I feel that string of light and the hope that was attached in my heart. You know, I felt that there was this light in my heart that was guiding me everywhere, telling me, okay, this is what you need to do now, this is what you need to do now. And that stood so strong that stood so strong that there was no way that I wouldn't follow it. There was no way that I could have not followed it. During that phase, I do remember it was fairly very difficult for me, because emotionally, mentally, and financially as well, I was completely by myself. With the end of the divorce, everything that I had worked towards my life was, I literally walked out just with my suitcase full of clothes, and in order to protect a lot of people, in order to protect myself, my dignity, and the years looking ahead, I decided to just walk out without getting into the drama of, you know, who owes who how much. So which I feel, I many a times feel like as if, you know, that was the stage where I say that I bought my life back, yeah, with my life earnings. Yeah. So after that, like I said, I met my husband soon after that, and I was ready. I knew love wasn't a problem. I was ready for a relationship. I was, yes, of course, scared, but I felt very safe. I felt very one. I knew the connection with my husband was a spiritual one. Like I said, I always had heightened senses. I had this intuition which was very strong in me that I always followed. And that was stronger than even 1,000 voices together. So, yes, then when I developed the IBS, I went through so many different ways of trying to treat myself, and I wasn't reaching anywhere. I was just, my medicines kept going up to almost like a 20 tablets a day, 5 before, after waking up, you know, this before meal, after meal, this is not happening, that is not happening, absorption is not happening. I'm getting sick more often, and suddenly I told you I went through this where I completely surrendered to Almighty, and I had a cry right from inside my heart where I really felt that I've given up completely. I've nothing else. I don't know what wrong did I do. I don't know what's going on, and I need help now. Yeah, that's my conversation with Almighty. And then soon after that came a lady in my life who was a Grandmaster Reiki channel. Her name is Mrs. Malvinder Kaur. Okay, she's Grandmaster for more than 25 years, and she is my husband's aunt, as in my father-in-law's sister, about 72, 73 years old. And when she entered my life, and before that I had Reiki trying to enter my life many times before, but I think I wasn't ready for it. I didn't pick up on the signs, and it happened when it was meant to happen, right? And when she entered that year as well, I remember I wasn't willing to yet get into it, but a year and a half after that she visited again, and that was a time where I was literally feeling like I was going to give up now. That's it. I don't understand myself, people around me are not understanding myself. I'm going through so much pain in my physical body that I don't understand where it is coming from, and it was my nervous system breaking down. So when I first had and then it was so interesting because I could keep feeling this heat in my hand, okay? I could keep feeling this heat in my hand, and I used to very often go and wash my hands in water because it will become like a burning sensation, and I didn't know what it was. So I had so many sensations going on in my body that I didn't even realize what was going on, considering I was so toxined even through the medication for so many years. I think there was a time in between. For a year I was on literally painkillers 20 days a month, and that completely spoiled my stomach lining, which of course led to so many other issues. And then finally, when I had my first session of full body Reiki from my aunt, it just changed my life. And I think it was right after the 2 sessions that she touched me and she said, "You're going to be a master one day, and it is destined for you." And I couldn't believe it. At that time, of course, I just wanted to feel better. I just wanted to feel better physically more than anything else, and then deal with everything else after that. But I remember when I started giving her Reiki right after 2 sessions of she doing one for me, I understood for the first time that heat that was coming in my hand, what it was, and what its true meaning was. And my life just completely changed after that. I don't think I have looked back after that. Everything after that has taken me closer to becoming a better person. It's taken me closer to, my healing journey went on for a very long time, and there was not a single day that I didn't have a support. I had support literally 24/7, and that is the kind of kindness, love, abundance, and how gracious divine was towards me. And through patience and through love, and with a lot of healing through Reiki, then finally, as I started going up and up and better and better and better, then I became a Grandmaster myself. I did crystal healing, and then when I started healing myself through crystals, exploring, my life completely changed. It completely changed, guys. I could have never imagined. I think all those things that I enjoyed as a child, all those talents that I had as a child, is what I am living now. All those things that I was shy to do, all those gifts that I had that I was not looking at all, of course due to a lot of other issues that happened, is what is one with me now. And all of this, guys, happened because I think it is because of because it is required for us to understand the powers that we have are to serve the humanity at the end of the day, right? Unless you have gone through the trauma, okay, let me explain it like this. Unless you have gone through the trauma yourself and then come out of it, then healed yourself, and then finally you're standing your ground strong, and standing up for yourself, believing in yourself, being one with Almighty, and understanding that you are actually building your universe, and all that happened was also a carry forward from the previous life. right? Because right into childhood you start heading towards this. I mean, you totally chose it for yourself, right? How could that happen? What do you say, your luck is bad? No, there's nothing like that. It's just things you need to work on. Is the evolution of your soul, and you move forward in that. But you got to recognize your patterns, right? And that also happens when you're aware, when your time for awakening comes, and when your soul goes through that dark night. It is really, really very difficult, and I totally understand that. But I had the Reiki by my side. I had the crystals at every stage healing me. And by the way, it's been more than 3 years that I haven't popped a pill for anything. My flu management, if that's the only thing left, has just gone from a day of body ache and I get better after that. That's how the crystals help you. Why would you want to ingest medicines when you can heal yourself through something which is external to your body and yet resonates with you? So there were many reasons why I got into this. It initially happened for healing, for personal reasons, of course, healing for physical health, mental health, spiritual. I used to anyways, I was always very spiritual. I knew growing up years, I had so many questions which I used to ask my parents. I would never get the answer, but I knew the essence of things. I knew as humans what we are meant to do, what we are not meant to do, and I stood by them. I always stood by them, and that was my religion. Spirituality was my religion. Understanding of the human life was my religion. And end of the day, knowing that it is love that matters, right? All religions at the end of the day teach love, and that is the true essence, and that is the truth of the entire life. So there's so many things I've shared today, and it's a very long video. I don't even know if you guys are going to be able to listen to this, but I will still put it up because I have been getting a lot of indications to share this with you and my personal journey. Even though I have picked up bits and pieces, there's so many details to this. However, one thing I can tell you very truly and very seriously, okay, is that the moment you start asking yourself this question of why this happened to me, from why this happened to me to what is it trying to teach me, that is the time when things started shifting for me. So with God's grace, okay, I say this, with God's grace, I never had that mentality where I would say that this happened to me and why this happened to me and this person. I always wanted to look further than that, and that always helped me. So I hope you do that too, and you find your answers. There's support everywhere, there's help everywhere, and you can move forward from there.